have next. So what is it that we're going to do? We look into Python keywords. So I'll say today's class we start by looking at what? Python keywords. Okay. So basically, I will explain this, and then as the class proceeds, also you will understand. So give me examples of keywords. So keywords, you can think of them as what? Reserved words. So anything that makes meaning to the compiler is a keyword. Example, true, capital T-R-U-E. So false, F-A-L-S-E. Now, if you typed small with small t, then you see Python will not highlight it. Hence, you know that that's not a keyword. Even some is a keyword, okay? Then what else? Int and all others, okay? So is as a rule of thumb, you try to avoid using keywords whenever you are maybe declaring variables, all right, or saving your Python programs. So you try to avoid the use of keywords because they have specific meaning to the compiler. Now, there is something that interests us. Okay, so that will be the second thing here. So the second thing will be all about what? Statements and expressions. Okay, so statements and expressions. All these things I'm going to demo, okay, with examples. So expressions in Python. Now, which literally you can tell anything, you can say anything can be an expression. Okay, and we look into it. How does this actually differ from ordinary statements? All right. So, and then with that, we look into what else? Dynamic typing, because you said that Python is dynamically typed. What do we mean by that actually? So that means in other programming languages, something like Java, you have to explicitly, okay, I don't know much about explicit and implicit. Let's make it simple. You have to declare the type before you use it. Example, if I want to accept the age of a person, okay, so age has to be in years or months or whatever. I have to tell that, yes, what I need is int. So this, when you declare this type before you use it, that is what we call what? Implicit declaration. Right? So you have to tell the compiler what it does, but Python doesn't bother at all. Only at runtime you're going to use this. Okay, and then we see with that with an example, with examples. All right. So after this example is done, then we might look into something else. Okay, so kind of do concatenation of text fragments. Okay, so we look into what? Text concatenations. Now you might say, okay, what is text concatenation now? So we call it joining of what? Of text fragments. Okay, so text fragments. So once this is done, what we do now, we look into nesting, which is very important. Nesting of what? Now I pronounce it differently. Nesting of quotes. Okay, so example, I want to write, okay, this is India, I am an Indian, I am an African, or something like that. Say I want to say hello world, okay, and I want this to have maybe like quotation, sorry, exclamation mark. I will say it's, so I need this, right? I'm using this apostrophe. It's been good, or true, it's been good, something like this. And I really wanted maybe double quote to appear as well. Okay, so we need to look at how we actually bring something like this to the console. Okay, now after that is done, maybe I want to look into something else. Okay, so using this, we try to kind of print what do you call it, some pretty patterns. So we do this, and then we print what? Pretty patterns. What do we mean by pretty patterns? Try to print some pattern, okay, and that'll be kind of an assignment also for you. And very importantly, we need to look into escape sequences. Fine. So briefly, escape sequences, and you will understand why we're actually spending some time to understand this, because as you start programming, you notice that you might need to give a specific format to your code. Okay, and we wind up by looking into a text-based application. Okay, so some text-based application, so we try to create some text-based application. Okay, text-based application, right? So based app, so this will be hands-on. And then finally try to look into number systems, because many a times you get error messages and you may not understand what exactly that looks like. So we call it working with numbers. So basically we will focus more on what? Octal and what? Hexadecimal number. So we try to look at the truth table for these two, and then we proceed. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you is working perfectly now. All right, so having said all this now, where do we start exactly? Please pay attention. Like I said, I'm not going to keep you for too long, so I'm going to make it brief. And please, if you are joining us for the first time, remember that we are on 100 days of challenge. Let's see how far we can go. So where do I start actually? So let's start with what? Python keywords. So if I ask you now to name some keywords, Python keywords, can you just tell me? And please don't forget that keywords are what? In simple term, okay? What's a keyword? Okay, Python keywords. So what do you call them? Right? So you can say that they are what? Special words or reserved words. So we say AKA reserved words. Say as simple as that. Reserved words which makes meaning to the interpreter, right? Fine. If that holds true, can you just list at least 10 of them? Because I believe, see, we are still at the basic level, right? Apart from whatever I've listed, can you look into like logical operators, arithmetic operators? You have heard of this term class, yes? Fine. We will look into them later, okay, as we get into the object-oriented programming using Python. And this is very important, def, which you use to define what functions. So trying to list other things which I have not said, and you remember this AND operator, so you can also remember what del. We saw elif yesterday, and then you can also see the use of finally keyword. So just for us, and then you can even see this continue, and even they have this keyword called pass, and you have your return, you have your try. Okay, try, catch, and yield. Okay, we have yield. So I think we are done with this. Okay, and don't forget the introduction of lambda expressions. Okay, so lambda also is a keyword. Fine. So having touched this briefly, so let's look at this. I remember the rules, right? Which we said that whenever we are naming a variable, we should avoid what? This keyword. Say example, you want to say you want to compute, maybe you want to compute and some CGPA, some you want to do CGPA calculator. Okay, so in that you cannot say class equals maybe like 7a, like that. So you should avoid using this. That's what I meant. Okay, so and then you cannot say okay, continue equal maybe like BDA, big data. You have to continue doing big data, something like that. So try to avoid this. Rather, you can say section. Okay, section. So that's not a keyword. Then you might say maybe course. That's not a keyword. All right. So this I think this settles it. And the next thing what we want to do is this. Since we said we are going to look into what dynamic typing, right? So in simple term, okay, it has nothing to do with the words you type per minute. See, please note that. So dynamic typing, okay, is not synonymous. Never. You cannot say it is what? It's never what? Number of words, number of characters. Okay, words you type per minute, words per minute. Because I remember someone was saying, you know, sir, but what do you mean by dynamic typing? Is it that if I type fast, then that means I type dynamically? Okay. So, like we said, see, the interpreter decides what sort of value it assigns to them. Example, saying whether it is a floating point value of an integer point value or something. Now, what is the let's give a typical example. Let's say I want you to ask the user, say I prompt the user, ask user to enter his or her name. Ask user to enter name, fine. Enter name, find the user, you are going to prompt the user to enter name, and then you ask the user to enter their age. Now, you see, what is the user going to enter in the first case? The user can never enter 10, right, as name, no way. Now, the user enters Helen, fine, Alice, Helen, Alice, no problem. Now, you ask the user, okay, enter your age. Now, you see the user is going to enter maybe like 24 years. Now, what did you notice here now? When you want to print this, right? So even you're going to get an error. So let's say this, you have stored it in, let's write the program now. So here you say name equals what? Input, say enter name, no problem. Fine. So this is of type what? String by default. So I don't need to typecast it. This is of type string. Fine. Now when the user enters age, this again is going to be of type what? String. But I wanted it to be of type int, hence I have to typecast it. Okay, int age equals what? So now I might not do it here. I can just say here int input, fine. Then enter your age, something like this. Fine. So this is what I meant by dynamic typing. Okay, so it can still work actually. If you want to print this now, see the problem. If you want to print Helen Alice 24, okay, or Alice is 24 years. If you concatenate name plus, I want you to try this out, okay? And if you try to link up name and age, it will tell you what type error, that you cannot concatenate string with what? Integer. Hence, you have to change it back. Okay, so fine. Now this works best. Okay, now you got the understanding of this. Now we will show a demo of this in a while. All right. So I have had a couple of programs, some little programs here and then we will demo this. Okay. So now after this is done, let's look at something else. Okay. Let's say you want to print something, I don't know, maybe joining up text fragments now. So we look into what? Joining up or linking text fragments. Okay, linking text fragments. Fine. So that means there are what? Various whatever, maybe like blocks of text. So let's say the first text has to do with what? Race. Now I don't want to use this race, rather I use nationality. Okay, because people, they say from there they change it to racism and stuff. So nationality is Indian. By the way, remember, okay, either you use single quotes or double quotes, it still communicate, it conveys the same meaning. So nationality is Indian, and then let's say I say gender. Gender is female. All right. So I'm using single quote now, same female. Now, one thing that might interest us is I want to print this. Okay, say Indian female. Okay, or Indian female athlete. Let's say occupation. Occupation is what? Athletics. Okay, so you say athletics. Athletics. Okay, something like this. Now say I want to print, please listen now. Okay, I want to print this Indian athlete female. Okay, let's say I put athlete on there. Say athlete Indian female. Look here, this is what I want. Athlete. Okay, don't bother how I write words. Athlete Indian female. Okay, that's what I want to print. This is one case. Okay, second case, I want to print Indian female athlete. Indian female athlete. Okay, whatever. Now last, I want to print maybe what exactly? Athlete. Okay, athlete in female Indian or whatever. I just say female athlete Indian. Okay, athlete Indian. So you see, with these fragments now, you can actually change their positions, right? So first thing, I can start printing. So what I will print first, I say print what? Print it in that order. Okay, I need this athlete Indian female. So athlete is occupation, right? Occupation. Now occupation holds true, then comma. Okay, with one single line of print statement. You can accomplish this using multiple print statements also, but I just want to use only one single print statement. So athlete is gone, that is our occupation. Then I need Indian, which is national, which I called it. Please remember, okay, variable names are case sensitive. So this is what I want you to also observe, okay? So Python is case sensitive. What do we mean by that? So if I say this now, national, capital N is never equal to what? Small n. All right, fine. You can even check it also, okay, by just checking n, is it exactly equal to n? Then you get false. Fine, because obviously the ASCII values are different. Now let's get back here. Now you see this is the order in which I can print it, and the last one is what? Athletes Indian female, that is gender. Okay, now this has to do with only reordering. Now, I have not actually linked this test. What I mean by linking this test is this. So when I print this, it's going to give me this one. Now, let's say I want to link this with maybe like something, maybe like male. Okay, so I will just say print. Now, in this, I will now say male. Okay, as a string, not a variable. Male what? Comma occupation. Okay, comma gender. Did you get this now? Okay, sorry, I don't need gender again. Maybe I'll say nationality, something like that. Okay, so with this, I now get what? Male athlete Indian. You got the point? So this is what I meant by that. Fine. And in between, definitely you will not get space, so you know how to print space. So if I want to print space, and I'm going to demo this in a while. If I want to print space, I need to use what? I can either print what? An empty space here like this, okay, using double quotes, okay, comma, okay. Now I don't want to talk about separator for now, okay. So and then I'll just talk about male and other stuff. But you have a problem when you want to say maybe like male, okay, plus 3. Fine, then you get the type error, right? Fine. So having said this now, let's now try to play with quotes. So let's say I need to next quotes, right? So I better show this with an example. So we go to nesting of quotes. What does that mean actually? So we are going to build a nest for the quotes. Is it? Fine. Nest in quotes. So you know quotes, like, okay, let's say I have a hash sign. Okay, I have equality sign. I have exclamation this. I have a question mark. I have everything, right? Now, what I can do is I can actually use what to bring all these things together. I can sort of put them all together. I can use what? I can use my documentation string, okay? Or you can call it your multi-line comment like this. Then you put everything inside, whatever ads, whatever ampersand, then copyright symbol, whatever, etc. Okay? Then you put everything there. Maybe you repeated some stuff of something like this, some sequences also here, and things like this. And then you close it when you want, right? So with this, you can actually print some statements, okay? So I can store this in a variable called it prettify, like you have hetify me, right? Say prettify me, something like that. So whenever I call prettify, it's going to call this, okay? Then instead of me putting it as a document string here, I'm going to use prettify maybe like 3 or 4 times. I hope you got the point, all right? Then I'm going to show an example also of all this stuff. And then one thing we should understand is what we call what escape sequences. So we are not escaping and running to another country. Yes. So escape sequences, what does it do actually? What is it? You have seen it. You have seen it in even from your JavaScript and from other programming languages as well. So give example /n/t/r/ whatever, that. Okay. So there's a table actually which I'm going to kind of show you. Okay, I'll be sending the PPT after this class as well. So let's try to look at most of the escape sequences. So what do they help you do? You know, definitely this gives you a new line, this gives you a tab, this gives you a what do you call it, carriage return or something like that, and then you have form fields and stuff. So basic escape sequences, what are they actually? You must have an examples, you have multiple examples of them. So sequencer, and then what does that mean? Fine, and meaning. So yeah, so /n, you help me tell what does it mean? It's a new line, right? So it's like you printing, just saying, if you say print statement, it's not give you a new line, but if you say print, next this in a print what and say /n, so I'm going to get a new line. Fine. So remember, everything has to be embedded in a print statement. So you get your /r. So which is your what? Carriage return, which is like your enter key. Okay, now the problem is this: if this is carriage return and new line, what's the difference, right? So even I don't know the difference. Okay, so yes, remember this gives you a new line, and this is like you pressing an enter key in the stuff. And what I normally use is /n and what /t. Okay, so /t is what? Tab. What's another name for tab? Just spaces, right? So it's like empty spaces, or we call them what? What do you call it? It's space only, right? Then I have not actually used form field and stuff, but you remember you have that. Okay, so I remember /b is for backspace. Okay, so backspace is like delete, right? Backspace, fine. So you are kind of removing the tab which you kind of created. So these I think some few examples of your escape sequences, and we are going to use them also in a text just very soon. And don't forget, so if you want to escape a couple of text also, you can actually precede them using maybe like double slash, like things like that, and then just type maybe something like that, and we will see it in a while now. Okay, then after this we'll try to create a simple application. Okay, so we end up by creating what? Simple application. So simple, so that you need to have, I want you to have a feel that you can actually build something. Okay, so creating simple application text application. So let me tell you what application we are going to build now. Okay, so just imagine that you want to, you know about these sci-fi, what do you call the movies? Okay, sci-fi movies. This is what I mean by that, sci-fi movies. Okay, so and you needed to look into some, maybe what do you call it, some famous characters. So first thing you can think of this, you prompt user, okay, to enter specific information. Enter what? Specific info. So the user is going to enter specific information. Then you output a kind of a character sheet. So you think now, okay, this information is still not narrowed down, right? So let me streamline it a bit. Let's say what I need here, this user info, what I need is what? I need the name of the user. Okay, you can actually put in this case, your nickname is what I need. Then after the nickname, I need you to try and give me a description of your name, right? So description of your name. Now after that, maybe you can give me a gender. Okay, so this gender, okay, you can even decide to say what do you call it? Okay, neutral gender, anything, fine. And give me the race, okay, a race, or maybe like give me your favorite quote or something like that, favorite quote. Okay. Now, so this is all I need. Now, I have to take this information, okay, and display it, on the next line after I have collected this information, right? Very basic, okay? So if this holds true, I want you also to document this. Now, I've taught you how to use even comments in between and how to do all kinds of stuff. And try to, whenever you start, okay, try to put, say, you have a version. Okay, so for you to prototype your version, you use double underscore. You can say version, something like that. Okay, you say and like this, okay, 1.0. So saying it's your first version. So that means this project, simple project will look like this. So I have decided that I'm going to use name. Okay, keep it empty because I have to accept it at what? Runtime. So use description. Okay, it's empty. Fine. Now gender, fine. Null, empty. And then race, empty. Favorite quote, fav is empty. Okay, so this is what you've accepted, right? I mean, you have to set them. Now, very importantly, you see, as you begin to build bigger applications, you might lose track of what? The variable names. Okay, you might lose track of the variable names. Hence, you can think of them as now what? Global variables. Okay, think of them as global variables. And this is actually a good habit to form, whereby you kind of, make a list of all the variables, okay, which you have, okay, make a list of all the variables so that when you start working on these applications, you will not forget that, oh, okay, these are all the things I need. Hence, I need to use this as that, okay? And possibly add some comments beside those variables. Say maybe some specific, some unique name, okay, some unique name. Then maybe like description, or maybe like something like maybe like scientific description or anything, okay, anything you can just tell. And then maybe gender mustn't be real, okay, you can fake it, so just so that you remember what you are doing. Hence, when you now prompt the user, okay, to enter the information, so it will look like this. Now we have set all these global variables. So you now prompt the user, you say, okay, enter your name, right? So this is the text which you are going to say, enter your name. All right, so this is some message which you are printing. Now this text, obviously you need to accept it at runtime, right? Hence we say input, no problem. And we have to store it in which container? Yes, name. Okay, so with this you replicate everything, and then race, you might actually give the user a hint. Okay, maybe Wakanda, something like that, so the user will know what to do. And when you want to output this now, maybe you want to kind of give us an output that will look like this. Let's say I want you to give me an output that will look like this, where I have some formatted strings. Say I have something like this. Okay, question mark at, okay, question mark hash. This is what I want you to print. And then you print all the user information here. Okay, and then you repeat the same thing again. Hash, question mark at, okay, question mark, maybe like hash, okay, something like this. So you see, it's beginning to make sense, right? So we're going to build this application also, okay, together. Now with that, I need to touch something which is very, very important. You remember the concept of what do you call it, number systems. You cannot overemphasize on this, because if you see, most times you see some error codes which says maybe like 0 0. Now it's not like this. You might get something like this. Okay, capital 0, okay, capital 0, small o, something like that, 276. What is this exactly? It might be an error message, or you get something that is like something like it will look like 0xffd, something of that nature. Okay, so most times you may kind of begin to wonder, right, what exactly is it? Okay, so can I actually say what I mean is this? I don't know if you have encountered it actually, something like 0x, okay, something like ffcd. I don't know if you have encountered such error messages before. So now what does it exactly telling us, right? So hence you need to understand this in the concept of what? The number systems. Fine. So let's take a simple table, okay? So we review what number systems, okay? And we're going to print something like this also, number systems. So I also want you to, take any number. Now look at the assignment, homework, okay? Prompt user, okay, to enter any number. Enter any any octal and hexadecimal number. Okay, fine. Now, and you print the equivalent and print the equivalent in decimal and print decimal equivalent. So the problem here is this: if you're not used to the terms, right, you might be wondering what exactly is he saying. So let's just take a quick review. Now we're going to have a table now. So this table, base 2 is known as what? Base 2 is known as what? Binary, okay? So, or what? Decimal. So basically people don't use this decimal, we use base 2 and binary. So I'm putting it in a different color. Decimal. That's what I wanted to write. I hope you understood what I'm trying to write, decimal. Now, after this, now you have another one, which you call what? Base 8. Base 8 is known as what? Base 8 only, or what? Octal / octal. Now, you have your base 10. Base 10 again has funny names. Base 10 is known as what? Binary, right? Or what? Decimal, right? So you call it decimal. Now, and lastly, you have your base 16. Now, don't tell me, sir, these are the only ones you are mentioning. You also have base 3, base 4, no problem, but these are the commonest ones, okay? So you now say base 16. Base 16 or what? Hexadecimal, right? Hexa, meaning hexa 6 decimal. Fine, decimal. Now let's generate a table of this, and then when we try to print this, we see actually whether it is in tune with whatever we have studied now. Okay, quickly. So I'm going to write from some couple of numbers now, and I might not generate all of them. So you see, it's very easy to count in base 10. So let's count in binary quickly. So 1, 2, 3. Now for that I need to actually draw lines. Okay, so the lines is going to go zigzag anyway. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now you get there 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know, so why are you drawing till 15? You get to know now. So I can draw till 100 also, but don't worry. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for now. Now let's quickly count here. So we are now in 1, 2, 3, right? So follow me quickly. So you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just to make sure that I don't keep scrolling here and there, I'll stop at 11. Okay. Now let's count in base 8. So if you're counting in base 8, what do you have? 1. Okay, remember 0 is 0 everywhere. Even 1 is 1 everywhere actually. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is 8? 8 is 8 in base 8 becomes 10, right? Actually, it's 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. Okay, now let's go to base 16. So in base 16, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And what is 10? A. 11 is B. Hence, you get 0 to 9, comma A to F. Fine. And then here you have 0 to 9, and then you have 0 to 7, and then you have 0 to 1, the range. So you go and count in binary, which everybody knows. So 1 is 1 in binary, 2 is 1, 0, 3 is 1, 1, this is 1, 0, 0, okay? So 1, 0, 0, this is 1, 0, 1, this is 1, 1, 0, this is 1, 1, 1, and then this is what? 8, 1, 0, 0, 0, this is 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, fine, 1, 0, 1, 1. So we stop here for now. Now, what am I trying to achieve here? So let's say I saw a number which looks like this. Now, based on this, I want you to remember two things now, okay? Whenever you see an octal number, now go back to this example which I gave, okay? So whenever you see an octal number, it's going to start with 0. This is 0, okay? And this is O, as in letter O. I don't know if you understand what I mean, okay? So, so you see letter O, and then again, this is going to start with what? 0 followed by letter X. 0 followed by letter X. Fine. So now you see that what I tried writing was octal equivalent and what? Hexadecimal equivalent. But sorry, not hexadecimal numbers, not equivalent, please. Octal numbers and hexadecimal number. Now, looking at this, can you just do a simple math now and tell me? See, if I write something like this, Okay, this is 0 and this is O, and then I'll tell you 1, 2. What is this in base 10? What is this in base 10? So if you pick from this table, you see 12 is 10 in base 10, right? Fine. So I will say this translates to 10. Hence, I want you to print this, okay? The octal equivalent. So if you print it, we don't do this now. You're going to get it is what? 10. 10 will be returned. Now, similarly, let's take a number that is not so much. Let's go to base 16 and take a number which is like B, right? So I'm going to have 0x what? B. So it will look like this. So 0x, okay, B. The question is, should I use capital B or small b? B, okay. So this will translate to what? 12, I think. What is it actually? So if you say, yeah, 11 actually, okay, it's 11. So this translates to 11, fine, in base 10. So this is what I meant. So on this note, let's just do some small coding, okay? Now, I believe so far, so good. And I believe you are able to see my screen, and I believe somehow I am not too fast. So I have most of these things here, and I want to show us something now. So I'll just call this up, and let's start here, okay? So you see variables and data types. Python has these statements, working with dynamic type, joining up strings, nesting this, creating applications, okay? Then working with this and your homework. So let's start quickly, okay? So let's see something here when we try to kind of link this up, okay? So can I just look at these expressions, okay, with a shopping list, okay? Shopping list. I said I want to use this because we actually do this, right? So let's do something here, okay? I copy this now. I'm just going to say file, okay, new file. Now I'll just paste this. So let's do something, all right? So I'm going to maximize this now. What we want to do, so if I start typing, say I will just say onion, okay? So if I say onion is what, 10, just imagine what I'm going to do now. Then I will say, what's it called? Give me names, okay? Coriander is what, 5, okay? And then I'll say, maybe I'll say bread is 35, okay? Then I will say, maybe I will say milk, okay? I will say 20, okay? Now the question is, see, what am I exactly trying to do, right? So if I think I should use an interpreter now. So I'm going to move this to an ideally, but it's fine. So you see, if I save this now, if I save this, and then I've tried to run this, I'm not going to get any output, okay? So I'll just say it's just like an day 3. Please remember, please make sure you are writing, even if it's stupid programs also, please ensure you are doing it, okay? Fine. So I'm going to say, call it P3, fine. Now .py. Now with this, okay, see, I didn't get any output. So this is the concept of statements, okay? See, I have something, right? Unless I print it, it becomes what? An expression. I have assigned values to them. So basically now all are just statements, right? They are just statements. Now, what happens, say, if I have, say, butter? What happens if I have butter? Okay, you know the error message I'm going to get. What's the error message? Look here, butter is undefined, right? So I did not assign value to butter. Now, this makes sense, okay? So remember, a statement is just like a dummy variable, okay? A dummy stuff. It just stays there unless I do something with that. So having said this now, let's try to do some stuff, okay? I'll just call that shopping list, okay? Underscore list will be what? So I want to know total the shop super whatever, total list or whatever, okay? I don't need to replicate total list or something. I can say what? Total amount or amount, amount. So I want you to kind of build this small thing, okay? It can be a simple calculator for you, so whereby you ask the user to enter, please listen, ask the user to enter the values of the onion, coriander, bread, milk and stuff, and then you say, okay, you need this much to go to shop, you see? So it can be a simple thing that gives you that flavor that fine, you can actually program. So let's say butter is rupees 50, and okay, now what I need to do, I say amount, what I need now is what? Onion, you guessed it, right? Onion plus what? Coriander. Now I'm using small c, I'm going to get an error. So please, to avoid all these things, you can actually shorten the whole stuff, right? Coriander, fine. Anyway, Okay, I'm gonna get an error again. Coriander, right? Fine. Then you say plus what? I'm not gonna type all of them, but you know what I mean. Plus bread, bread, plus milk, fine. Okay. Plus butter. Again, if I run this, I'm not supposed to get an error, okay, but I will not get any output, right? Because I have not actually I have not actually printed it. So nothing is there on the console, so that makes sense. So what I will do now is, instead of wasting time, right, I will just assign print statement to that. So I will just say print now, amount, fine. So this is done, and once I print this now, I'm going to get what? The amount. So I need this rupees 120. Okay. This makes sense now. So I'm going to close this. Fine. And then with that, we are done with this. Okay. Now, dynamic typing, you have actually seen that. Okay. So you might say, no, sir, I did not see dynamic typing. You said I have seen that. So I didn't see it. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So what I will do, since most of them are here, I don't want to waste time. So I'm going to copy this now. Okay. And then Control C, then come down here and then I'll paste it here, Control V, and ensure that you are seeing only one screen at a time. Okay, so if that holds true, so you have this, and then I'm going to push all these guys down. Fine. So focus on one screen at a time. So what exactly do I mean by this dynamic typing? So I have assigned V. I like this letter. I like the letter V. It is my name. Okay, fine. The beginning letter of my name. And I like this number 7. And I have signed I to be Ikechukwu. I have signed Ago to be true. So let's print something here. Okay. So I didn't comment out the rest. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment out the rest. Okay. So I'll just put this 1, 2, 3. The rest has become comments. No problem. Now, this is what I need. So I'm going to run this now. Press F5. Enter. Now you see unterminated literal string. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's not the error message which I wanted to see. I wanted you to see something here. Okay, which is this. Okay. Yeah, V plus I. So I'll just start this on a fresh page because a couple of examples are there. Now, if you come here, what I need to show you is this here. I'll just paste it here. Okay, and then I'm going to comment out these ones. No problem. Okay, then I'm going to close it here. 1, 2, 3. This is done. So what I needed to show you is this. I really need to add V plus I. Okay, and you guessed what the error will look like. So if I do this now, V plus I, what did I get? Unsupported operand, right? For int and string. You got the point? So I really need to say Victor. You got how? I hope you got the error, right? So this is what I wanted to show you. Okay. So yes, one is of type int and the other one is of type string. So this was actually when I declared and I assigned values to these variables, the v7 and the I Ikechukwu. So this was integer and that's a string. So what can I do now? I need to typecast this. Okay, so that's why I just did this. Fine. So I changed this, right? Fine. So that I actually can print a space in between. And when I run this now, okay, the error is solved. Fine. So I say 7 Ikechukwu. I hope this makes sense. Fine. So having said this now, let's look into the next example. So the next example, I'm going to remove all these things, Control Z, I'm going to undo everything. Fine. And then we are back here. So let's look at joining what? Of text fragments. Okay. So I'm going to take this example, copy this out. Fine. Then get back here. Fine. I'm going to increase this also. So till here, I'll close it. No problem. Then I'll paste this guy here. Now, so race is African and gender is male, and then if print the first one, then you understand what I'm trying to do. So when you print this first one, what do you get? So you get male African, no problem, right? So this works fine. Now let's look at the next example. So I'm gonna comment this one out, fine. And then I'll print this. So I printed the variables, right? So I'm going to print this now, a string with what? That variable. So you see, these ones is like a variable with a string, and it will not give me any error. Okay, it shouldn't. So you see again, male African. I say here, you just add quotes, okay, and that's it. So when I just run this, I'm going to get the space in between, no problem. So this is done, and what do we have to do next? So let's go back there. So next in quotes, okay, which is the example I said we are going to look into. So you see here, he quoted that the rule string by default, but I wanted the rule is for everyone, right? So I'm going to copy this out, and then you know what you're going to get as well, okay? So this is done. I'm going to keep this side by side so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing actually. So I'll keep them side by side here, and I won't waste much of your time. So this works. So this still here is fine. And I believe I'm not going to run this actually because you understood what it's going to print. But in case if you are curious, okay, let's do it. All right. Okay, so till here is fine. Okay, what I'm going to do, again, I will remove this and allow everything to become a comment. And then here I'll end it and then get back here. I'll just paste this. Fine. I'll run this now. F5. Okay, enter. Now you see he quoted the rule is for everyone. No problem. So this is done. Now let's use escape sequences. Now, so what you want to do is this. Let's say you kind of want to, by the way, Igbo is a language, so you can actually do it for what do you call it? Before we escape sequences, you can actually do it for any language. So let's do for Hindi now. So I minimize this. I think I should show one screen at a time to avoid confusion. So till here is fine, right? So again, I'm going to remove this comment here, add it here. So I think by now, so many things on your screen. So I'll just go back, okay? Till here is fine. I'm going to end it here, fine. And then let's get some blank space and paste it here, okay? So the intention is to print something here. What is it that I want to print? I just want to print this, okay? So I want to format this. So Igbo is kind of, I want to print all these things, right? Is a language generator or something like this. And this makes sense as you begin building complex applications, okay? Version 1.0 blessed copyright blessed technology. So you can actually insert that symbol copyright, something like that. Okay, copyright, okay, fine. I don't have the option to insert that now, okay? Something like this. And then I'm going to print this. So when I run this again, okay, so I'm going to get this printed, okay? So maybe you might have a situation where you want to print all this stuff. So please, this is not escaping sequences, but I want to print some of them. When we start using robust IDEs, then everything will change. Don't worry, just stay put. We are almost done. So with this, let's build this simple calculator. The rest I'm not going to run, okay? So let's do our simple calculator and we are done. So what's the simple calculator which you want to do? So the escape sequence works. So look at it here, okay? Just type something and then print that followed by stuff. So you might be thinking, okay, what exactly is he trying to do? So escaping the sequence, let's type in something, okay? And then we print example of that. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this very simple example. So till there, how will it look like? So this is kind of I use lots of what they call it, escape sequences, and then in between you're going to see how it will look like in a while. So let's just run this, okay, since we are here already. So you can actually run this, right? So fine. So you see you're going to get something like this, right? So this is it. Example is followed by text, name, gender, and don't forget to escape. So everything is in one line of statement, but we use /t/n, as you can see them here, /n/t and things like that. So this is fine. And then the last one, the hexadecimal. Please stay put. I'm almost done, please. Okay, remember we started a little bit late today. So let's look at the hexadecimal to octal number. So I've given you instances here, so I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to print them right away, okay? So we just take this and quickly I'll just print them. So since I'm going to run it from the compiler, I'll just put some number, okay? So quickly we just do this. So here is fine, okay? I hope there's no problem anywhere. Okay, why don't we type it? So I'll just say OCT and OCT now, see there, okay, underscore now, okay, is equal to, so tell me that 0 x what exactly 1 2, fine. So this is fine, and then I will just say hex okay, underscore num, fine, okay, is equal to, what was that I showed you? 0 words x, okay. So this was actually for hexadecimal, so this is 0 small. Oh, so this problem I can't actually change this anyway. So 0x 1 2 was what I wanted for hexadecimal, but I need to change my octal, okay? So I reassign octal underscore num, okay, num1 to be what now? 0 small o, yeah, 1 2, fine. Now let's print them, okay? So now I'm going to print hex underscore num first, hex underscore num, okay? So once I do this, I'm going to get 18. That's the equivalent of that in, remember, this is from hexadecimal to binary, okay? So this is, sorry, decimal base 10, from hexadecimal base 16 to base 10. So now let me print for the octal, right? Oct underscore num1, okay? So num1. So again, this is going to give me what? The equivalent in base 10, and this makes sense, right? Fine. On this note, we are almost done. What remains is the last example, right? So what was the last example? I said, okay, all these ones are done, so I'm going to close this. I have just this last example. Okay, so the last example is I really need you to kind of print something, right? So what is it actually? I have kept it in a different place. So look at this. Okay, this is creating a text generator. So I have put it here, me and my friends. Okay, so look here. So it's looking like a robust application, but it's just it's very simple. So you're going to call it some name. Okay, this was what I just demoed. Okay, here only I just showed you this example application, right? So this is what I was trying to create. Okay, something like this. So now let's get here, and then you see what is your name, describe yourself, and things like that. So let's run it quickly now. Okay, okay, I need to close this in the compiler. Let's just run it once. So now you see here, what is your name? So give me your name. I'll say my name is Alice in $1. Okay, so then it says, describe yourself. I am the daughter. Okay, daughter of my father. Okay, something like that. Okay, they said I am the son of my father, right? So what gender are you? I'm a female. Okay, next, aha, what fantasy race are you? Wakanda forever. Okay, fine. Now you see you printed something like this. Okay, I hope you understood the concept. And people might be saying, okay, Sasi, I don't know, I mean, why you are actually using this. I will introduce you to the concept of what robust IDEs like your PyCharm and others. And then you don't need to do all this stuff. But I want you to have a feel of this. Now, the reason I want you to do this is, they say I have closed all this, right? And somehow I want to run this from command prompt. Please pay attention. I will do this, and this is very important. Say I want to run this day 3p2, right? So let me open it and see actually whether it is what I needed. Okay, so once I double click, see, I say, what is your name? Please listen, guys. Day 3p2 is what I want. So once I double click, I'm going to get this, right? What is your name? Then let me just type the same thing as this. Okay, then I will say like that, I am, something like that. Then I'll say female. Okay, anything I'll say Wakanda. Okay, now you didn't see any output. You see the problem? This happened because you need to call this up properly. Okay, so what I will do, I'll go to command prompt. I'll just type cmd. Fine. In cmd, remember this is spaced. First of all, find the directory. It is on what? I'll close this. It is on 100 days of Python. Inside that I have this, right? So you can actually right click, go to properties. Let's not waste time and copy this part, right? Fine. Okay, copy this part. Fine. So actually I can just copy the part, and then I'll go to command prompt, and paste it. Otherwise, what I can do is, if you are the type that likes typing, so cmd, fine, then this is there. I'm going to do something now. I'll just say cd to desktop. Fine. Desktop, fine. Then cd to 100 days of something, so I just paste this. Okay, so I want desktop to this /python. I think that's what it's called. So it says unspecified path, obviously, because Python is already, desktop is already there. So what I need is cd to 100 days of what? That Python, right? Fine, I'm there, right? So I need to find the file which I want to run. So I just type dir. Okay, now I'm getting confused. Now it's called day 3 underscore p to this one. This is what I need exactly. So I'll say Python 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 day what 3 underscore what p2. I believe it is p2. Okay, .py. Fine. Now with this, now see it's running on the console. Please pay attention. What is your name? I'll say the same thing, Alice. Fine. Now describe yourself. I am, okay, I am Miss India, something like that. Miss World. Okay, well, let's use India, make India great again. So I am Miss India. Fine. So I am a female, obviously. Fine. And then Wakanda is my favorite character. Fine. Now you see this printed. Okay, I hope you got the message. Okay, initially when I went and I double clicked, that was never compiled. I mean, I did not generated .exe file, so I cannot be able to run it that way. Hence, you see, running from the IDLE, I should be able to run this from my command prompt itself. You might as well start running your Python programs here, but that's not the essence, right? So on this note, I want to thank you so much for listening, and then I deem it fit to end the streaming right away, and we will see tomorrow in the next class. Okay, so before I go, let's kind of summarize what we did today. Are you with me? Okay, so we started by looking at what basically, please just stay for a while, I'm almost done. So we started looking at what by variables, okay, and data types, okay, and then Python keywords and the reserved words that are true, false, some, and int. looked at what statements and expressions, right? So the dynamic type with an example, joining of what text fragments, nesting quotes, okay, pretty patterns and escape sequences, text-based applications which you have done, and working with numbers, octal and hexadecimal. And you saw the keywords, right? And then you saw the dynamic type also, and then you saw the text application which we built. So the question is, what is our assignment, sir? Because you said you're going to give an assignment, right? So the assignment is this. Please ensure, okay, that you kind of complete whatever I've given you yesterday, okay? And subsequently, try to look at a way, okay, in which you can make this prettify it. Example, okay, can you print this pattern? So this will be something I want you to do now. Can you print this pattern? This is, get involved, guys, get involved. Okay, based on whatever you've learned, okay, can you print this? Can you print this? Print this pattern. Which pattern? Can you print this now? Let's make this pattern. So let's say you have one star here. Please don't use loops now. Okay, we come to that. Don't use loops, please. This is like Pascal triangle, not really Pascal triangle anyway. So this is one pattern. Okay, 4. So you start 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe till 10. Okay. Now, can you print a pattern like this? So you can use something else. Okay. So like this, okay, again print like this, fine, okay, print like this, okay, and then inside say I am getting good at Python, good at something like that, good at Python programming. Okay, so this is the first exam assignment, this is the second one. Okay, getting good at Python programming. Okay, now another thing you can do is actually try to create a shopping list. So the third assignment, create a shopping list, create a shopping list calculator, shopping list calculator. You know what I mean? So ask the user to enter everything, okay, many of the things, and tell the user how much he needs, okay, and then try to ask the user whether he has sufficient money or not. If the user says that's sufficient, you say insufficient, please add this to your account. Okay, you didn't understand. Let's say now you've created a shopping list, okay, and everything sums up to 300, and Ama has given you 200 rupees. Mom gave you 200 rupees, okay, rupees 200. So you now say, based on whatever you've imputed now, you say, please get extra 100 rupees, okay, okay, yeah, you are short of 100 rupees, something like that, okay, short of rupees 100. Okay, so tomorrow, or rupees 100, I'm writing 1,000. So tomorrow we'll be starting with what do you call it, your if, else, and or whatnot. What do you call them? So don't think so much about the names for now. So thank you so much for staying put, and then I believe somehow you are able to get something new. But please ensure you get involved, because this is the problem here. Okay, as we keep going and then you're not taking actually what do you call it, actionable what do you call it, as you're not taking part in this, it's going to become really difficult. So tomorrow we'll be starting with making choices.